So today we are going to see installation of Linux operating system. So in physical environment, whenever you are going to install the operating system, we need a physical machine. You can take the CD or DVD, put into the DVD drive, go to BIOS, boot from the CD or DVD, the installation process will start. So now we are going to discuss Linux operating system in virtual environment. So virtual environment, you need to download a software is called VMware Workstation. So top of this VMware Workstation, we are going to create a machine now. So top of that, we are going to install the Linux operating system. So now how to create a virtual machine, we are going to see, click on File, click on New Virtual Machine, select the option Typical, next. So here you can have two options are there, install or disk. So if you have the physical DVD, you can put into the drive, your laptop or desktop, then the installation process will start. But it will not ask you any question, automatically it will install. So next one, we are going to use the ASO images. So this is also, if you select, automatically it will install. So always as a Linux administrator, we have to install the operating system customized OS. So here select the option, I will install the operating system later. So this is, remember, I will install the operating system later. Click next. So it will ask you a question, which Linux you are going to install. So which operating system, Microsoft Windows or Linux, Novel Netware, Solaris, VMware ESX server, like this. So select Linux. Then so we have different versions. We are going to learn the Red Hat Linux. So select the version Red Hat Enterprise Linux 664-bit. Click next. So here you can give the machine name RHL. RHL test. You can give any name. So RHL test, I given the name of the virtual machine. Click next. So already there is a name with the same name, RHL test 1. Click next. So disk size is 20 GB. 20 GB is enough to install Linux. So select to store virtual disk as a single file, means the entire 20 GB space located as a single file. So if you select second option, it will divide the files into 1 GB, 1 GB or 2 GB, 2 GB, multiple files will come. So always you can keep only one file, then you can copy the files easily into your pen drives. So select to store virtual disk as a single file. Next, click on finish. See, now the virtual machine is created. So machine is ready. So now we need a software. So to select the ISO image, right click on the machine, click on settings, select CD or DVD, select use ISO image file. So where you copied your ISO image file, so you can browse it. Click on browse. I copied into E drive. Go to E drive. There is a folder softwares is there. So select the ISO image. So whatever the image you copied into your desktop or E drive or D drive, so you have to select the drive. Click the ISO image, click on OK. Now power on the virtual machine. See, machine is ready, software is also ready. Now click on power on this virtual machine. So this is the welcome screen will come. Install or upgrade an existing system. Install system with the basic video driver. Rescue installed system. Boot from local drive. So first time we are going to install the Linux operating system. So select first option, install or upgrade an existing system, enter. So this is the question it is asking you, disk is found, your CD or media or ISO image is found, do you want to test? No, skip it. Otherwise it will take 15 minutes time. to test is there any errors in the media. So skip the media test, enter. So running Anaconda is a installer in Linux. If anybody asks you a question, what is Anaconda? It is a installer. Windows, we have Windows installer. Linux, the installer program is Anaconda. So click next. So select the language English, click next. Select the keyboard language US English, click next. So here we have two options are there: basic storage devices, specialized storage devices. So basic storage devices means local disk which is connected to your laptop or desktop or your real-time servers. Specialized storage devices means the space which will come from the SAN, storage area network. So that is a specialized devices. So click next. So select basic storage devices, click next. So first time your hard disk is going to be initializing. So click on reinitialize. Now here give the host name. Host name is server 27. You can give any name. So host name is nothing but a computer name which is communicated in the network. So host name is the computer identification name in the network. Next to click on configure network. This is the logical device name of network card. So that is ETH0. So automatically it will find and it will show you the network card. So ETH0 is the network card. Depending upon the versions, maybe the name will change. So here the name is ETH0. Now I am going to assign an IP address. So click on edit. So select the option, check the box, connect automatically. So if you are not checking this box, automatically while you are booting operating system, it will enable your IP address. Otherwise, every time manually we have to assign the IP address. Sir, enable the IP address. So check the box, connect automatically. Just a minute. చెప్పండి ఒక్క నిమిషం సార్ చూస్తున్నాను. వచ్చిందండి. 17 ఇస్తుంది. నేను డీటెయిల్స్ పంపించేస్తాను. ఓకే. So sorry for interruption. So check the box, connect automatically. So now nowadays we are using the IP addressing system IPv4 settings and IPv6 also using in some environments. So IPv4 Internet Protocol version 4, 32-bit IP addressing system. We are going to discuss about these IP addressings in our networking classes. So click on IPv4 settings. So by default, every operating system method of IP address is automatic DHCP. But we are going to learn the Linux administration. Always we have to select manual IP addressing system. So select manual, then add. Now I am giving C class IP address, C class private range. These ranges we are going to discuss in our networking classes. 192.168.0.27. So this private range of IP addresses is used by private offices, hospitals, universities, schools, like everybody they can use private range only. Public means internet. So give the IP address, press enter, automatically netmask will come. So click on apply. Now click on close. So now here we given the host name and we given the IP address. Now click next. Here you can select the time zone in graphical mode, Asia, Kolkata. So time zone is Asia, Kolkata. Click next. So this is how to remember. It is asking your root password. Root is the administrator account in Linux. In Windows, the administrator account is administrator only. But in Linux, the administrator account is root. Give the root password. I am giving Red Hat. You can give any name, any password, but you have to remember it. Once you log in as a root administrator, you have to assign this password. So administrator password we given, administrator account name is root. Click next. So it is giving the warning to you, it is a weak password, no problem, use anyway. So here you can have the number of options. So select create custom layout. So as a Linux administrator, always you have to create your partitions as your wish. So if you select any one of the above options, automatically it will install with LVM. But we are going to install the operating system by standard partitions now. So click next. So hard disk is detected. The hard disk name is SDA. So the logical device name of hard disk in Linux is SDA. So in this disk now we are going to create the partitions to install the OS. So select the disk, click on create, again create. So mount point is nothing but a storage address of your data. Like in Windows, C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive. In Linux we are calling as a mount points. So here already we discussed in our file system structure /boot. So boot is the location to store the bootable devices, bootable files. So file system type is ext4. So size is 200 MB is enough now. So 200 MB is enough to store the bootable files. Click on OK. Then the compulsory partition to install the Linux is /. So / is the operating system directory in Linux, that is compulsory. So what we are giving boot, these are all optionals. So I am again creating another partition. Click on create, again create, mount point, see here // is the OS directory. So for this I am giving 10,000 MB. So 10,000 MB is enough for our administration practice purpose. So click on OK. Second partition is created, SDA1, SDA2. See, SDA is the disk. In that disk we created T partitions. So like this you can create 64 partitions. Again I am creating another partition, create. So I am giving /home. /home is the user's home directory. So we are going to discuss about user management. So 1000 MB I am giving. Click on OK. Now we are going to create a swap partition. So swap is a virtual memory in Linux. So in Windows is a virtual memory. Automatically choose Windows virtual memory. But Linux, the virtual memory we have to choose manually. That is nothing but a swap memory. So virtual memory is nothing but a sum of the disk space we can use as a memory, temporary memory. So click on create. To create a swap partition, click on create, again create. See here, you have to change the file system type because swap is a memory based file system. So swap memory, swap file system, 1000 MB I am giving. This is enough for installation. So without this also you can install. For swap is in real time environment, you have to explain how to create a swap partition at the time of installation. That is the reason I am telling you. So click on OK. So swap management, we are going to discuss about in depth about this swap management. So click next, click on format, write changes to disk. Now your bootloader is installing on the disk /2/SDA. Click next. Here you can select the option desktop because I want to get my operating system in desktop view. So remaining any software group you selected, you can do all the administration tasks, but remaining all are in command prompt only. So if you want to get the feature of desktop environment, you can select the desktop. Click next. So the installation process is started. It will take 10 minutes time. So meanwhile, we are going to discuss about what is user, what is shell, what is kernel. See here, user. So in Linux, we have three types of user: super user or root user. So technically, if they will ask the question, who is the super user in Linux, is nothing but a root. Root is the administrator account. Just now we seen at the time of installation, we given the password also. So root is the administrator account in Linux. So those user is nothing but super user. He can do all the privileges. He can have all the privileges. He can perform any task in the server. Next, normal users. So as a Linux administrator, you are going to create the user accounts. Like developers, we have developers. So those are the normal users. So normal users having no administrator privileges, they can execute only their normal user commands, and the related database files or any other commands we given permission, they will execute. Next to pseudo user. So pseudo user means the administrator can give some privileges to normal users. Those users are called pseudo users. For example, if you join as a Linux administrator directly, they will not going to give the root password to you. They will create one account by using your name. So they will assign some privileges. They will assign some tasks of administration. So for example, disk management or user management. So those commands only you can run. So those are also administration tasks only, but you can't do any all administration tasks in the server. So they will limit you. You can do this thing, you can do this thing, you can do this thing. So those users are called pseudo users. So pseudo user, what is pseudo user? If they will ask any question, assigning the administrator privileges to normal user, nothing but a pseudo user. Now what is shell? They will ask the question in interview, what is shell? Simply, so shell is the interface between user and kernel. Shell is nothing but command checker. So most of the shells are developed in C language. Shell identifies whether the user is a super user or normal user or pseudo user. So depending upon your permissions, it will identify which commands can execute, which commands cannot execute. So Linux supports all the shells. Default shell is bash. So these simply questions you have to remember. So say suddenly they will ask the question, what is shell? Somebody they will not give the answer, proper answer. That is the reason I am explaining you. So shell is the interface between user and kernel. It is a command checker. Whatever the command you given, it will check. It will, if it is known command only, it will send the instruction to kernel. Otherwise, it will not send. So how the shells are developed? Shells are developed in C language. So shells identify whether the user is a super user or normal user or pseudo user. So Linux supports all shells. Default shell is bash. Now we have C types of shells. Bash, born again shell. Default OS is Linux. SH, Bourne shell. Default OS is Solaris and HP Unix. Default means when you log into the system, which shell opens, that is the default. But every operating system supports all shells. So you can switch into the different shells. We are going to see in our classes. Next, KSH, corn shell, used by the IBM AIX Unix. So CSH is the C shell. So generally it will assigned for C programmers. Like this, you have to remember the types of shells. Then what is kernel? So kernel is the interface between shell and hardware. Kernel is having a core of operating system. Every operating system contains kernel, and kernel will communicate directly to the hardware. See, between the hardware and shell, there is interface kernel. So kernel communicates everything. So it converts high level language to low level language and low level language to high level language. So, okay, these are the points you have to remember. Next, so already we discussed Windows operating system identify the files with extension names, but Linux operating system will not support extension names. But how the Linux operating system identify the files means the Linux operating system identify the files with the type of file. So how do you identify a file in Linux? Normal file you can identify by hyphen, hidden files dot, block special files b, linked file l. So there is a character shows before when you see the information about a file. So depending upon these symbols, you can identify the symbols and characters, you can identify the file type. Linked file L, socket file S, directory also treated as a file in Linux. D means directory, piped file P, character special file C. Like this, you can identify the files. So there is a command in Linux uname displays the system information. If anybody asks you how do you know your system information, what is the kernel name, what is the node name, what is the kernel release, what is the kernel version, what is the machine architecture, what is the processor architecture, what is the hardware platform you are working, what is the operating system you are using, because in all flavors of Unix this command will work. So Solaris also command will work, Linux also command will work, IBM X also command will work. But as a Linux administrator or Solaris administrator, you have to understand on which OS you are going to work. So then you can use this command. It will display you all information of your system. Then you can understand where you are working. So in entry point of view, they will ask the question how to see the kernel release. U namespace -r. How to see the kernel version. U namespace -v. How to see the machine architecture. U namespace -m. How to see the processor architecture. U namespace -p. How to see the hardware platform. Means 32-bit or the 64-bit hardware platform. Which platform you are working. U namespace -i. How do you know which operating system you are working. U namespace -o. Like this, you have to read and remember these commands, because in interview point of view they will ask you more questions. So compulsory question, this will they will ask this question. As a Linux administrator, how to know about your system information, how do you know that is system information, they will ask the questions. Next to ls command. So ls is a command in Linux to see the files and directories. See, for example, in Windows you can go to the desktop mode, see you can open. So here you can see which drives are there, D. So I can see what the directories are there, what files are here. But Linux we are going to work with command prompt only. But how do you know the files and directories? You can use the command ls. So ls displays in which directory you are having, which files and directories you are having. So this command will display. So this command also number of options. ls space -a displays the hidden files, directory files, normal files, all files it will display. ls-d displays current directory dot. ls-m displays the files and directories with the commas. ls-r reverse order it will display the files and directories order, it shows in reverse mode. Hyphen capital U capital Q displays with the double quotations. Hyphen capital R recursive mode means there is a main directory, under main directory there is a subdirectories. So in that subdirectories again there is another subdirectories in number of files, means like tree structure it will display. ls space hyphen capital R. So ls space hyphen s, it will display the size of files and directories with kilobytes, so with bytes. So ls space hyphen I, it shows the files and directories of inode numbers. Inode is nothing but a file. So kernel can understand this question they will ask in interview. What is inode number in Linux? Inode number is nothing but a file. Inode is nothing but a file. So kernel can understand the file with number. System administrator can understand the files with names. So inode number is nothing but a kernel understandable file name. Next, what is the size of a file and directory? Human understandable language ls space -h. So ls space -t sort by modification time. So they will ask you the question, I want to see files and directories which are most modified time. So you can use the command ls space -t. I want to see the complete information of a file, ls space -l. Then it will show type of file, permissions, owner, group, number of bytes used by the file, when the file is created, date and time, what is the file name and directory name. So everything it will show in the 9 fields. We are going to see practically these commands. Now see the installation process. See, the installation is completed. Now after installation is completed, you can reboot because we have post installation steps. So here you have to perform license agreement and you have to create a normal user. Then how to log into Linux we are going to see. So this is the welcome screen. Click on forward. So select as for the license agreement. Click on forward. So set up software updates. See, if you have the licensed software, then directly you can link with your Red Hat site. So we are not using licensed software. Select no, prefer to register at later time. Click on forward. So no thanks, I will connect later. Click on forward. So here you can create one normal username. So I am giving the username Charan. Password you can assign Red Hat. I am giving. So root password also given Red Hat. Here also I am giving Red Hat. Click on forward. So weak password, no problem. Yes. So if you want to change the date and time, you can check and change the date and time. Click on forward. So insufficient memory to configure kernel dump. So kernel dump means kdump means kernel dump. Whenever your system is crashes, it will create one dump file. You can by using the dump file, why your system is crashes, you can analyze. So insufficient memory, we given the less swap memory. That is the reason this error came. This is not a problem. Click on OK. Click on finish. Now this is the login screen. See, just now we created user account Charan, but we are going to learn the Linux administration. You have to log in as a root user. So click on other. So if you log in as a Charan, so many commands what I discussed to you, you cannot work. They will not give permission denied, errors will come. So we are learning Linux administration. Click on other. So username root. Give the password. Red Hat we given at the time of installation. So this will give you are logging as root user, some warning is coming. So no problem. Just click on close. చెప్పండి ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి. అయింది సార్. నేను ఆన్లైన్ క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను. ఇది చేపించేస్తానండి. ఎప్పటికి కావాలన్నారు? ఓకే అండి. టైమింగ్ ఏదైనా పర్లేదా? ఓకే. అదేనండి, ఈ టైం మనకి ఈ టైము వాళ్ళకి 12 అవుతుంది అనుకుంటా. ఓకే సార్, అంతేనా? ఓకే ఓకే అండి. ఓకే ఓకే, నేను చేపించేస్తాను. ఓకే, బాయ్. బాయ్. So this is the desktop environment. Right click on the desktop, click on open terminal. So now we logged into the Linux operating system. So now you are ready to use the commands. See, remember one thing, whenever you are working with Linux operating system, first of all you have to know where you are. So Windows you can know, my computer open, it shows everything, C drive, D drive, E drive. If you open D drive, it shows the path where you are. So everything graphical mode. But Linux, how do I know where I am? I am in which directory? I don't know. So we have a command pwd, present working directory. So the default home directory of Linux administrator is /root. Under /root, I am in a desktop subdirectory. So because we logged in as a desktop view, so your current home directory is desktop. But always you can work with your home directory. So I want to go to my home directory, cd. Now see, your home directory is /root. So to see the files and directories, so Windows, if you open D drive, it shows what are the files, what are the directories. But here I am in /root. This is also a directory. But I want to know what are the files and directories. Give the file ls. Just now we discussed. ls displays files and directories. So ls space -a, hidden files and directories, all files, hidden files, normal files, everything. ls space m with commas. ls space -U. So already I shown you the document you have to follow. So regularly we cannot use all the commands. Regularly use only a small ls-t, most to modified time, ls-r, reverse order, ls-s, it shows the size in bytes, ls-sh, human understandable language, 4 KB like that. So next ls-l, this is the main command. So it shows Already I show you can identify the hyphen, normal file, D, directory file. So these are 1, 2, 2, 2 numbers are there. These are the number of links of a file and directory. So by default for file 1 link, per directory 2 links. Who is the owner of the file? The owner is related to which group? How many bytes used by the file? So the date and time when the file is created. So whether it is the file or directory. So everything it will display. Most of the times we are going to use this command. So in real-time scenarios, generally they will use the commands with options ls-ltr means most modified time with reverse order with the full list ls-ltr. Like this, you can also use the combinations. So you can use different ls-lsh. See, combinations you can use. So any combinations you can specify. Whatever we discussed ls-a, ls-m, ls-q, you can use the combinations. So next to see the host name, command is host name. Just now we given at the time of installation server 27. So to see the host name in Linux, what is the command? Host name. To see the IP address, command is ifconfig. See, this is the IP address. So to see the OS uname, just now we discussed Linux. I am working on Linux. Uname -a. It will show the entire information of your system. So what is the OS? What is host name? What is kernel release? Kernel version? Just now we see the options. Uname-r, kernel release. Uname-v, kernel version. Uname-m, machine architecture 64-bit. Uname-i, hardware platform. So uname-p 64 processor architecture. So uname-n node name, computer name. Uname-s so OS. Uname-o so OS project GNU Linux means general public. Everybody can use this Linux. So like this entry point of view, whatever the question they will ask, you have to ready to give the answer. See, out of these options, anything they will ask. How do you know the kernel version? Uname-v. How do you know the kernel release? Uname-r. How do you see the node name? Uname-no. So host name also it shows. But they will ask, is there any other command to see the computer name? Uname-n. Like this, we have to give the answers. So this is the installation process of Linux, and the what is shell, what is kernel, what are the uname commands, what are the ls commands. So next session, so we are going to start the basic commands. Okay, thank you.